Naked Norman Reedus. Oh god, do I love that logo. That is the most badass fucking logo. Kojima Productions! Shut up and take my money! This is where it gets really trippy. We go in down his throat and then there's a baby giving us a thumbs up. Another thumbs up. It's like, it looks like we're going into an asshole, and then a baby's ass, and then a thumbs up. People are making a joke. This is a walking simulator game. It's called Amazon Prime Delivery Boy in space. No. This made me laugh. Look at all that shit he's carrying. He looks like one of those dudes from Monty Python. This is the shit that I can't stand. Look away, guys, if you- oh, ew! Ow! Into more weirdness, she eats a maggot. Ew. Whoa, dude. I'm so hyped right now. I'm so excited, aren't you? I can't fucking wait for this shit to come out. Hurry up, damn it! Hey guys, a couple months ago I recorded a commentary video where I'm watching the Death Stranding trailers along with you and commentating on the whole thing. So if you haven't seen them, I'll put links in the description so you can watch them by themselves, but I also added subtitles, at least to the first 4. There's a brand new one at the end that I really kind of just reacted to because I really don't know what the hell we're looking at. It's really short but sweet. So if you haven't seen them and you don't want them to be spoiled while you're watching them, I recommend you watch them on their own. Otherwise, sit back and get some popcorn and enjoy this weird little adventure we're going to go on. Trailers 1 through 4, and then the 5th and final trailer, which is a short but sweet little awesome one. But be warned that these trailers are really fucking weird and people have been analyzing them to death, and I have watched a lot of analysis videos and I'm not going to take credit for all the things that I've discovered because some of the things are what other people have said, and I say that when like, oh, this is what people think, but it is so bizarre. So it's going to be a really weird, funky adventure, and the only thing that I can describe, if you don't know what Death Stranding is, it's that new Hideo Kojima game that's probably going to come out when we're 80 years old. It's about multi-dimensional, weird sci-fi shit having something to do with babies and black tar stuff and rain that makes you age and all kinds of other weird craziness, and Hideo Kojima genius. It's a long fucking video, so let's get right into it. This poem is pretty significant somehow. To see a world in a grain of sand and heaven in a wild flower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. William Blake. It's beautiful. Sounds biblical. So the first thing we see is black sand. Duh, I'm pointing out the painfully obvious, and carcasses or some kind of rib cages, and there's these weird, drippy, cool effects on the text, and then we see crabs, Kojima, and we're all like super excited. If you look closely, all the crabs actually have umbilical cords attached to them, some kind of strings or strands. And then weird big handprint things that I thought were like invisible lycanthropes or something. Beautiful song. I didn't put the lyrics there, that's what they have. Kojima said pay attention to the lyrics. And then we see a naked Norman Reedus with handcuffs. And a baby attached to him with a black umbilical cord. You notice he has a lot of little handprints all over his body? Hands are a huge clue about this game. So he's holding the baby and he's clearly upset. I thought the handprints was some kind of almost Native American body paint design or something, but it's not. So he's obviously very sad here, and then something happens. Boom! Baby's gone. He's got a bunch of dog tags attached. All of a sudden there's black stuff in his hands, and then there's black little baby handprints climbing away from him, and the baby's invisible. I think the baby disintegrated in his hands and turned into this black stuff, and then he's looking at the ocean. Notice that scar on his abdomen there, in the shape of a cross? None of us are supposed to know what the fuck's going on, so don't worry. This was the first trailer. I'm gonna play them in order. Some people say play the trailers in reverse and they make more sense. Not really. But anyway, he's looking around, and this is the pivotal big image here. 5 floating figures up in the sky. A bunch of beached sea life with umbilical cords attached. Everything's gray and deathly monochrome. Keep coming. I have a nickname for those things in the sky. I think they're actually guardians, some kind of observers. They could be aliens, they could be spirits, they could be gods. None of us know yet, but there's a lot of theories, so. And then they disappear, and then we see a Hideo Kojima game, and everyone's like, woo! Norman Reedus in, I was gonna say, Silent Hills? No. Metal Gear Solid Zero? No. I'll keep coming. Death Stranding. With these cool, weird, drippy things. Notice that the drippy letters spell the word eat standing. I don't know if that means anything, though, but it might. So that's the first trailer. Weirdness is through the roof already, but it gets even weirder. Oh god, do I love that logo. That is the most badass fucking logo. Kojima Productions! Shut up and take my money! His own video game company. Okay, notice there's a reflection of a rainbow in the mud here. This is one of my favorite trailers. Again with the crabs. Dead crabs everywhere. This is going to be exceptionally weird. And it won't make any sense, but I'm going to point out what I've noticed and point out what other people have noticed too. See, the baby doll only has a left leg. That's all you can really tell right now. And we have a guy who seems very out of place. He has a suit, a clean suit, he's well fed. He's looking up at... there's an inverted rainbow. There's umbilical cords attached to those jets. This is actually Guillermo del Toro. And he has a scar on his forehead, too, and it looks like he had a lobotomy or something. He's clearly afraid. He's in a city that's, like, in ruins. It looks like post-World War II. Again, with those weird strands on the planes there. And people zoomed in on this little pen he's wearing that has American, like the United States flag, and it says the United Cities of America with a spider web across the United States. So what the fuck is he doing here, and what is going on? There's some kind of carving of letters you can barely see on those stones. I didn't notice that. But then there's a tank with all kinds of weird tentacle things, like maybe the tentacles are driving the tank, and I didn't even notice this either. The soldiers who are wearing World War II American uniforms are actually skeletal. And comes this black tar stuff. It reminds me of Silent Hill. He's hiding. He's holding something. And for those of you who've already seen the trailers, you recognize that incubator thing immediately. Then he realizes that there is more black tar, or some kind of black fluid. He also is wearing the similar glowing handcuffs that Norman was wearing. He attaches, I guess, his body to this incubator, and this little baby wakes up inside. Now, what people suspect is the baby is actually some kind of sensing device. Could be a protective device, but... Okay, so you notice the baby doll is actually getting dragged in the water by a tentacle. Yuck. Hentai. No clue. He's nervous. He waits a minute. He's, you know, he's breathing heavily, and then look at the baby. It opens up its right eye. Just its right eye. Then he's calm. And he's determined, and he goes into the tunnel. So this looks... What I believe this might be some kind of time loop parallel dimension, World War II. Might be like the City of the Dead or something. The inverted rainbow is very significant too, but people haven't figured it out completely. Now we see a weird red glow in the black water as the baby is getting dragged closer and closer to whoever this figure is. I'm gonna shut up for a second. Listen to this music. It's so badass. Sounds just like Stranger Things, Mass Effect, Blade Runner. It's very dark synthwave. That's my favorite kind of music. Okay, so out emerges 5 soldiers. 4 of them of which are skeletal. They're all connected by some kind of umbilical cord stuff to this 4th guy, or excuse me, the 5th guy, who is actually Mads Mikkelsen. What a great name. Amazing actor. And then he does this shush gesture. Notice he's got this weird black tar all over his head and his face. He does this very distinct move on kind of gesture. The soldiers disconnect from these weird glowy, flamey umbilical cord things. Notice his compass is going crazy. He looks up, sort of, and looks like he's being relieved of some kind of something. Looks down. And here's that baby doll again. Look closely. The baby has a scar on its abdomen, right, like just like Norman Reedus. The baby opens its right eye, And then all of a sudden there's nothing on his face, no black stuff. And he looks up at us with a maniacal smirk. We have to assume he's the antagonist, but I don't think he is. That black stuff looked like it was possessing him, like he was being used as a vessel of some kind. Very, very weird shit, but very cool. God, I love that music. So I assume that maybe the Guillermo del Toro guy was actually meeting up with this dude in the sewer or whatever to bring him that baby. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe he was meeting him.
There was an explosion.
Okay, listen to this.
A bang which gave birth to time and space.
The Big Bang Theory.
Once there was an explosion.
Another one.
A bang which set a planet spinning in that space.
Notice the plant life is growing and then dying
rapidly.
Third explosion.
A bang which gave rise to life as we know it. And then came the next explosion.
Which is the fourth explosion. See, his leg's all bloodied up. His right leg is bloodied up. I think it has some connection to that baby doll. The baby's missing its right leg. His right leg is injured. So people have rewatched this trailer many times and put pieces together. I'm going to tell you what they've put together and what I did too. So he has the word porter on his uniform. And the gear that the other two men are wearing, it says corpse disposal unit. They are some kind of... They're wearing like hazmat suits of some kind. It says porter, see? He's got a little dream catcher on the back of his gear too. That is also significant. So I believe what they're trying to do is transport or pick up, retrieve corpses. They're very important for some reason. This thing has gold stuff on its face. But unfortunately, they crashed while they were doing this task. And unfortunately, this dude underneath the truck or whatever is stuck. And he's obviously hurting, and then this other guy.
Shit, they're here.
That sensor thing is picking up a signal of some kind, and I thought this guy's face was melting, but he's actually aging very rapidly, and I think it's the rain touching his skin.
Sam!
Shut up. Don't even breathe.
I notice he's got tears coming down his face a little bit. Also, look at the bracelet that they wear. He's got a blue bracelet, blue glowing thing, and the guy that's under the truck, his is red. People believe that's some kind of health indicator. And here comes those weird, creepy, big handprint things again. So he said, don't even breathe. I assume that these creatures sense life of some kind. They obviously don't sense any of the noise the machinery's making. That cool sensor thing that looks like a flower. Remember the poem and it said something about a wild flower? It has 5 points on it. I think that's also significant. 5 is everywhere. 5 of everything. 5 fingers on each hand. We'll get to that later. So Norman is limping. See, he's got... Excuse me, Sam is limping. It's really hard not to call them by their actors' names because we don't know any of their names. Alright, so the corpse is getting absorbed and those strings snap off. Maybe it's some kind of protective thing, so the corpse is getting absorbed into the black stuff. Whatever this black stuff is, it's some kind of death conduit juice, I have no idea. He sees something in the distance, he starts to back away, and it's this huge figure. A humanoid figure. In comes the handprints of doom. And then, I think that's the blood off of his leg, and it's burning for some reason. It's burning the soil. Maybe it's the life they're absorbing. And here's where it gets pretty fucked up. The guy was aging rapidly, and now the handprints are coming right for him, and he's very old at this point. The guy sees more figures.
Surrounded.
And then hands start coming out from the tar stuff. Clearly they're trying to, like, consume him or absorb him too. The guy is about to shoot him. We assume that they don't want anything dead, per se. They absorb dead, but I think they consume life. They absorb dead maybe for some kind of energy, and they probably absorb life to move dimensions or something. That's what people suspect. So then this figure comes in, and notice this very familiar point gesture, and then he's got another one of those sensor things. The baby wakes up and starts spinning around, just like that compass on Mad's chest. The tar starts to rise up, and we look and the guy is not there, but he's shooting at something. People think that he sees the figure, but Sam can't see it. There's another Easter egg, the one with one of those demon things is actually Hideo Kojima. He says run and throws the fetus away, not towards Norman. Norman's like, what the fuck's going on? I didn't pick this up the first time I saw this, but he attempted to kill himself, but whatever grabbed him stopped him just before the bullet even hit his head, so everything's going opposite gravity, everything's being pulled upwards, and so the guy frantically takes a knife and stabs himself repeatedly, trying to kill himself. You can notice the color on his bracelet is changing to red, like that's his health, and I think they're going to use the LED lights on our controllers to tell us what our health is. He knows whatever fate awaits him up there is worse than death, so he's trying to kill himself. At least that's what people suspect. His little sensor opens up as soon as he comes in contact with the baby. Then we see this ginormous figure. No, that's not a penis, that's an umbilical cord. Another one. And then there's more umbilical cords, one for each hand. And then more with the hands. Look at the head of the creature, looks like a giant set of hands. The creature looked like it absorbed or consumed Sam's friend up there. He was still alive, you hear him screaming, and then all of a sudden, big white explosion. Whoosh! And then Norman, excuse me, Sam, why do I keep calling him Norman? Sam wakes up in what people are describing as the purgatory ocean realm or something. And then notice he has another handprint kind of appear on his chest. This is what people think that will happen when you die in the game. You're gonna wake up in a purgatory dimension. Notice these strands everywhere, the two strands, and then, okay, this is really weird. There's like spirits or something going up to the top of the ocean, and this creature that looks like it is swimming, but it's actually above the surface of the water had just eaten or consumed that corpse. I didn't notice this either, but all these creatures under the ocean are swimming upside down. Everything's flipped upside down, and then we see bridges, United Cities of America logo, then we see Norman, and there's his Dreamcatcher again. Notice he has two strands attached to him? People didn't point that out. I pointed it out right away. This is where it gets really trippy. We go in down his throat, and then there's a baby giving us a thumbs up. Okay, so then he wakes up and he's no longer submerged, and there's sunshine, no more gray, no more fog, no more rain. This might be the other realm that, like the earthly realm or something, like another dimension. Then he vomits these maggot things with black tar. I thought they were floating away, but they're actually climbing an invisible surface there. Floating because of the zero gravity thing? Could be. They might be going back to that whatever dimension that was. And he looks at the incubator. It's black. People think that the baby inside of him was the same baby in the incubator, and it brought him back to life. It's a clone or something. Tears come down his cheeks. Just without emotion. Then he looks at this crater that must have been caused by that explosion, and the five figures, or the guardians, whatever those are still there. Notice there's two strands planted all over the place.
A bang which gave rise to life as we
I think
know
what those are actually markers of where you might have died, or where others have died.
came the next explosion.
And people think there's gonna be some kind of a multiplayer element.
That will be our last.
Our last explosion. Might be. I think if other characters and other players die, it causes an impact on the world.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, right? On to the next one. This is the latest one. Another thumbs up. It's like, it looks like we're going into an asshole, and then a baby's ass, and then a thumbs up. Weird.
Sam Porter preaches.
Okay, gotta listen here.
The man who delivers.
The man who delivers. She has a very thick accent, this lady.
Tears. A chiral allergy. So, you have dooms, like me.
You have dooms.
What's your level?
I've got the extinction factor.
Huh.
But I think you got me beat.
You can see them, right?
No, but I can sense them.
You can sense them, not see them.
Wanna come work for me?
Look, the
Must be
raindrop.
tough out here on your own.
Must be tough here on your own. The
can't help
rain
you
burned
with
his
that.
hand.
I make deliveries.
Or maybe aged his hand.
That's all.
I make deliveries, that's all. And there's this gorgeous, beautiful song. And we see lush greenery everywhere. See the strands and the upside down rainbow? This is some kind of... So people are making a joke. This is a walking simulator game. It's called Amazon Prime Delivery Boy in space. No. He's carrying ridiculous amounts of gear. Very, very heavy stuff, whatever this is. On foot, his job really sucks. Look how gorgeous the scenery is. Everything's full of life and green and lush. This is a different world, I think. Oh, that looks like it sucks. And the extra pair of boots he must have found somewhere. More naked Norman Reedus. Getting clean. He's still wearing that handcuff thing. Is he a prisoner of some kind? It's almost like a house arrest ankle bracelet. Carrying a corpse! Okay. Nobody knows what the hell that's but he might be still doing the corpse disposal stuff. Notice he's wearing that suit again. This is more gray, and it's like they don't want the rain to touch his face. Or touch his skin, rather. Now, I thought those were rocks floating up in the air. This might be more of those little maggot things climbing upward. He's got these cool little cute hover robot things. Here's a hint that we're gonna have vehicles. This is looks like a motorcycle that fell. This made me laugh. Look at all that shit he's carrying. He looks like one of those dudes from Monty Python. Come, Patsy! He slips, and then there's some kind of cool floating device that saves him. Oh my god, look at the gorgeous scenery. People said that this looks like Iceland. Okay, this is the shit that I can't stand. Look away, guys, if you- oh, ew! Ow! Only hint at all that we have weapons as well. He's going to what looks like some kind of settlement. Give me your hand and knife. He's reaching for that picture, and that one drop of rain looked like it aged his hand, not burned it, and I didn't notice that his arm becomes goose pimply, but also red, like a rash. You can see the handprints. Only on his right side, where he was exposed to the rain. Something's up. And it's really, really cold. Maybe it's cold already, I don't know. Notice the weird handprint goes over the picture, but the picture is not affected. It's like underneath, and all the vegetation is popping out of the ground, growing, and then dying rapidly. They call it time fall. It's like an accelerated time rain. Then in comes Leila Adu, French actress. She is some kind of a deliverer too. Okay, so she sees whatever this thing is, but Sam doesn't. She gives him that same shush gesture, like, be quiet, don't breathe. But he's not covering his nose, like I don't think he's encountered these things yet. This must be the beginning of the game. Now earlier she said tears, so you have dooms, like me. Dooms is some kind of, people think it's some kind of condition. Then a tear goes down her cheek, just like what happened to Norman, just like Sam. Did you see the tiny little prism thing too? There's like a little rainbow. If you look very carefully, there's 4 figures floating, but they're all like see-through. I don't know which of these characters can see them. They kind of fade away. And notice those spikes on her shirt retract.
Headed into town.
Look at that. The coolest umbrella I've ever seen.
Those things never stay gone for long. The time fall fast forwards whatever it touches.
Fast forwards, whatever
But
it touches.
can't wash everything away. The past just won't let go. I'll see you around. Sam Porter Bridges.
Sam Porter Bridges, and then her little things pop out of her
Sam,
shirt.
what's your status? Chiralium density is still increasing.
My status is fucked. There's tons of them.
Can you sit out the rain?
No, they're closing in on my position. I have to move before they realize I'm in here.
Sam, if one of those things eats you, it'll trigger a void out. You'll come back, sure, but the surrounding area will still be a crater.
The area will be a crater. You'll come back, like the way he did earlier. Come back to
I
life.
got an idea.
So this might be what the baby thing is about. It could be a way to resurrect yourself. Could be a sensing device. Could be all the above. Plugs it in, the baby wakes up, then the sensor is detecting the creatures, whatever they are. Because he can't see them. The baby has some kind of sensing thing attached to that awesome armature flower light thing. Then we see a new set of monsters, some kind of shadowy figures connected by cables. He's like, wake up, baby. The baby opens his right eye. So this is definitely a stealth game, which is awesome. Notice how everything's growing, dying, as he's walking past. The rain is the time fall. That's what everyone's calling it. Time fall. Creatures are connected by cords. These look more like spirits than anything. I think it's like the spirit of the dead. Something like that. Now he's covering his mouth. I wonder if you have to push a button to do that or if that's automatic, but he doesn't want them to hear him breathe. People think that to show what happens, he purposely walked into an ambush, like a demonstration. The creatures come out from underneath the tar and drag him down. Once again, eat standing is what the strands on the letters are saying. So weird. Hear a baby crying and then the last weird line.
A cryptobite a day keeps the time fall away.
Into more weirdness, she eats a maggot. Ew. She seems to really be enjoying it. Something to do with those maggots are protective.
You're too late. You still don't know who I am, do you?
Who are you?
We're introduced to a brand new character with a gorgeous musical sting. Look at the upside down prism under her face. I knew she looked familiar, but I couldn't put my finger on it. That's Lindsay Wagner. A digital younger version of her. And that's the end of the trailers. People suspect that Lindsay Wagner, her character, is the same woman in the picture that he was trying to pick up. She's part of his past. Well, shit.
I had a special surprise prepped and everything.
Oh god, who is that?
Looks to me like your hands are full.
Maybe that's Troy Baker doing that voice.
You can always tweak the rules a bit.
What rules is he talking about? Whoa, dude. I'm so hyped right now. So is he some kind of summoner? Dude! Okay, see the gold mask thing? That's what that corpse looked like before.
Woo! He looks hungry. All you gotta do to make it out alive is not get eaten.
I have no idea what the fuck's going on, but it looks awesome. It's like Final Fantasy Aeons or some shit. Those look like limbs. Dude, I'm so excited, aren't you? I can't fucking wait for this shit to come out. Hurry up, damn it!